Hi, everybody. An official welcome to today's Pink Power Alliance Zoominar. We're focusing on creating the work and the life you want. I'm Cynthia Good, and I'm so happy to see everybody in this pre-holiday Zoom gathering. And hopefully you all have great things planned for the holiday. Really excited about today's topic. We've been having really kind of a crazy year, it seems. I don't know, for me and a lot of the women I've been talking with. So many women, our experts say, are wrestling with the idea of resilience. And a lot of us, I think, have felt somewhat burdened by all the wild things going on in the world today, whether it's, the fluctuating economy, wars in different places around the world, the post-pandemic fallout that some of us are still dealing with, and for sure, a workplace that looks a lot different than it did just a few years ago. But not to worry. A lot of good things have happened. I think a lot of us have reassessed our values. What's going on in the world has made it more clear what we really want. And we've been talking a lot about that because well-being is such an issue for the working women that we see. We've been talking about well-being. What does that look like? What do we really want? Because once we identify that, our experts say we can actually get it. And then I think we're more productive, happier, and successful at work, as well as in our lives. So we're going to talk to these experts today about resilience and what we can do to make things better as we wrap up this wild year. All right, I want you to meet our first expert today, our first thought leader. Her name is Rebecca Maciera Kaufman. She's a wonderful coach. She is also the author of the book Fit CEO. We're going to use a lot of the wisdom she shares in that book today. Rebecca, elaborate a little bit on what you're seeing. I touched on it, but I know you're in the trenches. So welcome, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Cynthia and Crystal and Carly. Wonderful to be with you today. It is a battle zone out there, isn't it? It's just
a little bit.
Speeds up and speeds up and speeds up. And while we're trying to say less is more, it seems like the work world, the home world, and the play world is about more is more. So what I'm seeing out there across all my clients is really the continuation of how do you cut out the noise and get what you need to get done. So we'll be talking about that today. And as you know, the book Fit CEO has many elements, but one of the chapters I'll be talking, or two that are particularly relevant today, is self-care and boundaries.
All right. Thank you so much for that setup. And we're trying to be really concise because I know we've got a lot to get in today to the program. I want to introduce everybody to our second thought leader today. She's a pretty extraordinary woman with a super big job. Her name is Crystal Williams. She's the Vice President and Director of Client and Community Relations at PNC. That's a big job. Crystal, how are you? And is any of this resonating with you in your life?
Hello, it's great to be here with everyone, Rebecca, Carly, Cynthia, and everyone else that has joined today. Yes, it does resonate. It has been a pretty volatile year in the financial services sector, and we have been really focused on doing all that we can to protect the well-being of our employees over the course of the year. So looking forward to talking more about that.
Okay, really great to include you. And I just want to mention, this is really what the Pink Power Alliance program is for. Pink developed it in the middle of COVID. There was really a need that companies had to show support and help develop and really bolster their high potential women. So we started this program so that companies could offer this to women they really value, and we could do deep dives into issues that were most important, like this one. With that in mind, I'd love for everybody to meet our third featured expert today, extraordinary woman, Carly Huban. She is a partner. She leads specialty tax and the national R&D tax credit practice at Aprio. Aprio is a top 30 business advisory, accounting, and tax firm headquartered in Atlanta. Hi, Carly. And how are you? And what are you thinking about all this stuff we've been talking about so far?
Cynthia, I'm great. Thank you for asking. Really almost done with my holiday shopping, so I'm pumped. But this is something that I think about every day, right? Because it impacts me, it impacts my team members, it impacts the way that I work with my colleagues. I mean, things from access to childcare, affordable childcare, how we get things done, how we take care of ourselves. Rebecca mentioned self-care, and it's really it's become almost an epidemic, right? Women not being able to take care of themselves and feeling like they have too much on their plates. And so I think that we'll dive more into that later today. I'm excited to share some thoughts on that.
Really well said. And we're going to dive more into that right now because we want to take sort of a litmus test about how everyone on this Zoom right now is doing with regard to this. So we want everybody to weigh in. This is about you. How are you doing when it comes to creating the work and the life you want? And Nikki Moat with the Pink team, who's totally awesome and new to Pink, and we're so thrilled to have her. She's been working on these polls. She just put the first poll up on the screen. So pick which one it is. How are you doing when it comes to creating the work and the life you want? Pick one. Are you knocking it out of the park? Are you good but want to do better? Are you doing okay but you're exhausted? Or D, do you need to put a bed in your office? Or E, if you don't want to leave the house at all. And the poll just disappeared, Nikki. I'm wondering if we can pop it back up. I'm not sure everybody got a chance to. Did everybody get a chance to weigh in on that?
It looks like we're just about done. It's showing me that we have a couple left to hit on it.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll wait till everybody gets a chance to sort of think that through and weigh in. And it's anonymous, you guys, so definitely weigh in and cast your vote so we can generate. We've been really having a good time generating some, exclusive data, little litmus test on these programs. So it's
Perfect.
going to be interesting to see. What are our results?
All right.
Oh, okay. Nikki, can you see that?
I can. Can you
Go
see
ahead
the
and read
results?
Yeah, read it.
Sure. So we have 9% for answered knocking it out of the park. 23 people, 53% said good, but want to do better. We had 14 people, or 33%, saying do okay, but exhausted. And then 2 people said need a bed in the office.
Well, I'm glad nobody said they don't want to leave the house. So that's really cool. All right. Well, I'd love to ask our experts, what do you think of these results? Essentially, we've got 86% of women who are part of this program are saying they're doing all right, but they want to do better. And a chunk of them, a third of the people on this call, and these are the movers and shakers and really the thinking ambitious women who are doing stuff, a third are doing okay, but they're exhausted. Rebecca, what's your take on this?
I don't find it surprising, especially at this time of year. It's December. Everyone's been hauling it a long time. So I think this is reflective of the women and the men, in fact, that I meet with. So
yeah. Okay. Well,
correct.
Carly, what do you think about what you're saying? I says, what did you vote? What did you say?
So I reassess my balance almost on a daily basis, right? So for me, almost on any given day, I can genuinely say I'm knocking it out of the park, but only because I've very specifically and intentionally changed the way that I live. And because I practice the exercise of not feeling guilty, right? I think that part of the reason most people feel like that 33% not like exhausted is because of guilt, because we feel as women like we have to be 100% good at everything all the time.
Okay, we're going to get more into that because I can't wait to hear what you're doing on a daily basis to be so intentional about the way you live that puts you in that top 9%. Crystal, what did you think about all this? And how did you weigh in?
Yeah, so I agree that it's not surprising, particularly when we see good but want to do better. And part of the reason why I do feel energized going into the end of the year is because I too learned the hard way, but still learned that no is a complete sentence, and that has made a tremendous difference in my life. So we can talk more about that as we progress.
I love it. Okay. Okay, we've got one more question for everybody. This is going to be really interesting. And Nikki's going to pop this up on the screen. And my request is answer this. Pick 3 of these things that would make a huge difference to improve your work and your life in the coming year, the top 3. But I want you to write down your 3 things so you remember what they are. And I'll tell you why a little bit later. So what are the top 3 things that would make a huge difference in your life? Is it getting more sleep? Is it spending more time with friends? Is it less alcohol? Is it simplifying your life? Is it, oh, I might have to pick 4. I guess it's okay if you want to pick 4. Is it getting promoted? Is it planning a vacation? Less responsibility, fewer meetings, better at saying no, which we just heard. It's a complete sentence. Eat healthier or other. So take a minute and pick your top 3, or 4 is okay too, I guess. And let's see where everybody weighs in. How are we doing, Nikki? I feel like we
We're
need a
about-
drum roll. We need a
I
drum roll.
know. We're about 88% of the way done. Finishing up, looks like we'll be done in the next couple of seconds, and then I can
Okay.
pop it up there and share it with y'all.
Great, thank you. Yeah, because this one may take a little bit more thought, but I'm going to be really interested to see. And I'm taking a
All right.
photo of this. So when we do our recap, actually, Rebecca's writing the recap that we'll be blasting out to our more than 30,000 women business leaders and influencers, because this is important for them to know. And here are our results. You want to read this, Nikki? Wow, we're kind of all over the place.
Yeah. So it looks like 35% said get more sleep. 37% said more time with friends. 2% said less alcohol. 31% said simplify. 35% have more fun. 20% said get promoted. 31% said plan a vacation. 14% said less responsibility and also fewer meetings. 41% said get better at saying no. 47% said eat healthier. And then we had 8% say other.
Oh my gosh, leave that up on the screen for a few minutes. And, we did a whole segment on, health and eating, and we brought in Canyon Ranch. Maybe we need to send that one out again as a New Year reminder. Number 2, getting better at saying no, came in second. And then number 3 was more time with friends. All right, Rebecca, what are your thoughts? I love this.
Well, these are like the chapter titles of the book, so it's kind of fun. So
That's a nice affirmation.
one theme that really everyone owns, we all own, is intentionality. So having the intention to get more sleep, having the intention to get more time with friends, having the intention to plan a vacation or to say no,
Mhm.
will help everyone make that change. And so I just leave you with, as we go through today, taking something off your calendar is a power move.
Right. All right. Well, Carly, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, it's these things, right? Some of these are changing habits, okay? And it's hard to it's hard, the intentionality. I agree with Rebecca. You have to very much be intentional about changing habits and not be hard on yourself when you make a mistake, right? You have the cheesecake, okay, fine. Whatever, you have the glass of wine, and even getting promoted, right? You need to be intentional about getting that promotion and ask for it. So I think
love it.
that's
Crystal, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I love this theme of intentionality. And what it really brings to mind for me is one of my favorite books by Stephen Covey. And there's a line in that book where he speaks to beginning with the end in mind. And I really try to apply that principle both personally and professionally. What is it that I ultimately want to see happen this year, this month, this week, with a specific project or life goal? And that drives simplification, organization, intentionality, and ultimately a sense of peace, which is why this year has felt so much better than let's say other periods of time in my life. So
I love that. A sense of peace. What price do you put on that? Wow. All right. Well, there you've heard it, everybody. Hopefully you've written down your 3 things, because we're going to take those 3 things, and in a moment, Nikki is going to move everybody into the breakout session. Here's the thing. Find something in your milieu that means something to you. I'm finding a lot of feathers this year. It's really weird. So I just feel like It's a really good message. I'm using it as a metaphor for my life. But find something around, take it, say why it's important to you, and then introduce yourself. I'm Cynthia. We'll have our experts today facilitate one of the breakout sessions. If you're in a breakout and there's no facilitator, please just step up. You know, we're here to make sure everybody's more visible. Introduce yourself, share your thing, why it's important. And then what I want you to do, most importantly, Nikki, throw this up on the screen so everybody can see. Here's the challenge in this breakout. With your 3 goals in mind, commit to fit. This comes from Rebecca's book. What can you commit to over the next 30 days to get closer to your goals? What can you do? What will you put on your calendar? What will you take off? We're going to start the recording. This part's confidential, and we'll see you soon. All right. Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody coming back from the breakout session. I can't wait to hear how it went. And I know that our breakout sessions were pretty big today because so many people showed up. Usually we have a gazillion people register, but not everybody actually shows up. And we had a really good turnout today. So is there anybody who didn't get a chance to share their ideas in the breakout, would like to share it now? Feel free to just jump in. And because then I'm going to ask what happened in your particular breakout session. What were the highlights? And I really want to include as many of you as I can. Anybody didn't get to share who can share now? Don't be shy. This is where we're supposed to all speak up and be seen, right? Because we want you guys to have exposure. This is part of the objective of the program, is to give all of our amazing high potential women more exposure. So who didn't get to share? Just raise your hand. Looks like pretty much everybody. Okay, who can? Annette, what happened in your breakout session? Annette Tarabasso is an amazing consultant. She's also been an extraordinary advisor to Pink, and she always has a lot of wisdom to share. So thanks for being on the program today, Annette.
So we had a great group out breakout session, and everyone got to share a little bit. We had a little mini aprio session as well.
Nice.
So I will say, to summarize, we had at least 3 people out of the 7 of us that said they wanted to get more organized.
Ah.
And both in work and in families. Someone's actually hired on the calendar, has a meeting with an assistant to help with organization. And a lot about saying no, and even saying no to some fun things, because you can get over scheduled. So prioritizing, saying no, what's going to go on the calendar, planning a vacation. That's very near term, even with specifics on location in Puerto Rico, with herself and her sister, not family. She was traveling a lot this past year, but mostly work and family. And I think simplification was another one, taking off unnecessary meetings off the calendar the next 30 days, and just saying no and getting more sleep and focusing on me time.
I love it. Thank you, Annette. Anybody else want to share? Faye, only because you're next to Annette in your lineup. Can you share what happened, Faye, in your breakout? Hi.
Yeah. Am I the only Faye here, or there's another Faye here?
I don't know, but I was thinking about you. I'm so glad you're
Okay. Yeah, we had a chat in our break room session about with Carly and with everybody else about, taking care of yourself by working out. We need this physical exercise, and we want to feel we get pumped, after that sweat, and coming back, having this laser focus, get your day on fire, get your things done, get your work done. And does not matter what time in the day you go in, probably matter a little bit if you're busy in the tax season or your busy season. You just have to work around it and, find time to get work done and feeling great about it. And don't feel too bad about, oh, I spend 1 hour in the gym instead of the work. But you know what? You in 8 hours a day, I personally cannot just, straight focus for 8 hours in a row with only, let's say, half an hour break or an hour break. I think exercise in between of the day definitely going to help.
I
At
love
least
it.
in my case, and it seems like in a lot of
Yeah.
people's case. So coming back with more, energy and this great feeling about yourself, I think it's just really a boost in the day. So
I
we
love
need
that. And actually, the newsletter we're blasting out early next week is just about how the very top women in business are, how do they get more energy? Because I think that's such an issue. I know for me, I've been working out with one of my best friends, and it's like so fun, and we're so motivated and egg each other on. So thank you for sharing that. Samantha, I see you kind of next in my lineup. Are you able to unmute and tell us what happened in your session?
Of course.
Great.
We have two Samanthas? No, right.
No, I was
Okay.
thinking about you. Thank you.
I just want to make sure. Um,
Possible.
so our breakout session was really good. I think we had a comment of no, and saying no. I always have an issue saying no, and because we always feel guilty. Like we always have to say yes to everything. And I think is also have to like proving ourselves in certain areas to let them know, like, yes, I am able to do it, but also saying no because we want to have more fun. We want to have time for ourselves and more sleep if we say no to things. So more time on our schedule.
I love it. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, let's see. Loney, can you join us and tell us what happened to your session? How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you, Cynthia. During our session, a couple of things that some of the ladies already mentioned were brought up in ours. So like planning the vacation, as far as just making sure that we're setting that time. So one of the things that we ended on for a focus was figuring out ways to uh, figuring out ways to just have more control over our day.
Ah,
So some of the consensus throughout the room was sticking to that schedule, making sure our sleep routines are just more consistent. That way we can feel better rested and we can make time to just shut off devices and have a total shut off time to restart for the next day.
genius. I love it. Okay, Denise, for some reason, I popped you up on my screen. Can you share? And especially if there's anything new that wasn't mentioned yet.
Oh yeah, thanks, Cynthia. I was in the same group with Faye.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I think she pretty much covered everything that we discussed.
Okay, cool. I love your Christmas tree in the background. You get the award for the best background. All right.
It's fun. It's virtual.
Oh, I thought it was the real thing. Anyway, anybody else want to share something different that you did wrong? What happened?
I can share. I don't think that anyone from our group has gone, but I think that we talked about a couple different things, but I think the common theme was going back to consistency and making things a habit. And just, if you start working out, it seems like that only lasts for a short amount of time and then you kind of fall back into it. So I was kind of sharing, I read Atomic Habits a couple times, and having kind of like a trigger to really help. Obviously it's a lot easier said than done, but similar to, whenever you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth, it's like if you brush your teeth always after you take your shower or before you take a shower, whatever it is, kind of having that trigger to always remind you of that habit that you're wanting to form, and then using that to really keep it going. Like I know that I read every night, and it's always whenever I get in bed, it's every night, even if it's a chapter or 10 minutes, even if I'm tired. I've now gotten to where even like on the weekends and stuff, even if it's late, I'm just like have to do it now. It's just become such a part of my routine. So that was kind of the theme that we had talked about, is just having a goal and setting it, and really being intentional about keeping that habit going.
I love that. Thanks, Kara, so much. It's so true. We start eating right and then you kind of fall off the wagon. Carly, how do you stay on track? And then I want to hear some input from our other experts. And then let's go to Crystal afterwards, and then Rebecca, who will take all this information in and synthesize it for us.
So Cynthia, part of what I do is I schedule I live by my calendar, okay? So I schedule things, including all of my self-care things, out months in advance. And then I was saying I'll book workout classes. I'll book one for every day of the week around what I think my calendar is going to be, knowing that there might be 2 days that I have to drop for important meetings. But if I have every day booked, then at least I get 3 workout days in, right? Whatever my goal is that I'm trying to achieve. And so for me, it's really like the intentionality and here's the thing, it takes time to do that. Okay. I have to take a half an hour or an hour every couple of months and sit down and think about like, what else do I need to do for self-care other than just working out, right? Making sure that I take the time to get healthy food in the house for me and my family, making sure that we have intentionality around all of those types of things takes a little bit of time, but the reward in the long run is worth it. So I've really forced myself to get into the habit of doing all of those things and scheduling it. So it's there. It will happen if it's on my calendar.
I love it. And that's so easy. I love how tactical and simple that is. I'm totally going to do it. Crystal, what's going on over there with you? How are you taking in all of this? I think Crystal's still with us, maybe on mute. Crystal?
On mute, and I am no
There you
longer, I hope. But yeah, the calendaring has been a huge game changer for me. And I will say that I've even gone so far as to get really serious about meal prep. Because one of the things that I found was that on those days when or it's just taxing for whatever reason to be able to come home and not have to think about what is next makes a tremendous difference. So literally planning outfits a week in advance. I do it on Sunday. I know what I'm wearing every day that week. I know what I'm eating. Workouts are planned, time with friends and family is planned. And I also just plan unplanned time, if you will, so that I know that everything that I need to get done is accounted for. And in those breaks where I can just be, I stop and just enjoy that time. And it's made a tremendous difference.
Okay. Well, so you tie it back to the whole conversation in my mind to organization. You're very organized, and you kind of took what Carly said and you elaborated on, you want to eat healthy, make sure to prep those meals in advance, plan all these things, and that decreases stress. I love that. Okay, Rebecca, let's go to you. I have so many questions for you because you said some things to me when we were planning to do this Zoom. You said everything in moderation, even moderation. You said, forget about balance. I don't know what that means. Spiritually, physically, to stay fit, taking breaks, because we tend to be workaholics. I think a lot of people on this Zoom gathering are like that, but just kind of take it away. What are you hearing and what do we need to know?
Sure. So thank you. What a great group. So when I said forget about balance, what I mean is I don't aim for balance in an everyday. I don't even think that's possible. But I do think there can be a whole life. So when people ask, like, how do you do it? I say, well, I have a whole life. I mean, every day do I exercise? Not necessarily. Every day am I getting quality time with my family? Not necessarily. Every day am I, with a friend? No. But if you think about a week, I'm taking breaks, I'm exercising. So I think one of the ways to release the pressure or this concept of perfection that we tend to have is get rid of the concept of balance and change it with a whole life. So that's one idea I'd share with you. I want to triple down on what Carly and Crystal said about time. I think one of the best tools is time blocking. So I call it pay yourself first. So just like the best financial advice one can ever receive in their life is that when you get your paycheck, the first thing you do is save your money for yourself, then pay for everything else. I want you to do that in your life. Pay yourself first. So the first thing you do is time block your time with your family, if that's dinner every night, with your friends, if that's a call on Saturday, and for yourself, if that's meditation or exercise or a walk. Time blocking and prioritizing yourself, paying yourself first, means you can then feed and nurture everyone else that needs a part of you. And then the power of small breaks. You know, if you're working, take a 5-minute break, have a cup of tea, call a friend for a few minutes. So all these are what I call, every chapter of the book, we end with immediate and imperfect action. And the reason is, just like everything in moderation, is let go of, I think, I believe it was Carly who said, let go. She's learned how to let go of guilt. And I believe Crystal said that no is a whole sentence. Those are super powerful concepts, and they're part of let go of this concept of perfection. So immediate and imperfect action is, if you want to commit to fit and start exercising, start with 10 minutes 3 times, then move it to 15. You don't start with, I have to get a gym membership. I mean, these gym clubs, they make a ton of money on the number of memberships they get in January and February, and then no one's there in March. So
Right.
start with 10 minutes 3 times a week. Move it to 50. See what you like, see what you don't like. You know, build it. Don't just try and do it all at once. So I think, and I agree, this showing and giving yourself grace and being kind to yourself. So I would say that making it a habit, doing it in a way that is nourishing and doable. And some of the things, you know, I'm a big anti-multitasker, except for certain things. And the exception would be, if you can't figure out how to get that walk in, then walking interviews. So I used to interview candidates on walks and be on the phone with them, interviewing them, or actually go physically walk with them. And I would tell them ahead of time not to wear high heel shoes. Or walk with a friend. If you want to spend more time with a friend, have a buddy, as Cynthia said, be something to exercise with. So get your time. You know, sometimes I realize the women in the locker room at my sports club where I dance, I know them sometimes better than my friends, because we see each other 3 times a week, 5 or 10 minutes each time. Do you really spend talking to a friend every week? I hope so, but if not, so bring the friend into your commitment, right? And I think these are multitasking in ways that are very helpful. Walking with a friend, a walking interview, or walking in nature, or walking with a family member. I could go on and on, but those are just a few tidbits.
I love that. And I know that I love what you said about multitasking, because there's good multitasking, but I know in the context of this conversation, you think there's some bad multitasking, and we think we're the queens of it. And I want you to prove why multitasking is bad. But first, and you guys are not going to believe this, but I'd love to hear from a couple other people first. What would Ambra, you know, if you could jump in there, you know, what have you seen? Brittany, did you share yet? I don't think you shared yet. Would love to hear, you know, what you're seeing. And Jean, maybe, and then let's go back to Rebecca and find out about what's such a big deal about multitasking. Or Jen, will you join us? And then Nicole, I want to hear from all of you guys, even if you just say, hey, and you know what you're working on most, or what you learned that you liked, or maybe something we didn't say. Ambra, can you jump in?
Yeah, can you just clarify for me? You're asking what I have seen or experienced with regards to multitasking and how.
Well, no, I'd love to know, what did you make of your breakout session, and maybe what did you have any epiphanies?
Epiphanies. Well, we talked a lot about we started with, you know, is there something on your desk that inspires you and connects you right to sort of the things that you want to do more, which, you know, I had never really thought about that, but I have this one little corner of my desk that is like my, you know, give me joy corner. And every time I kind of share that picture of my desk with anybody, they're always like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love that you have this on your desk, because it does just give me moments in between all of my stuff where I look over and go, oh yeah, this is like the kind of human side of me, and the, you know, the touch point sides when I'm just grinding away.
That's so beautiful. Would you be willing to share that with us?
What the things, the items are?
Yeah, the items or the picture. I love this.
Yeah, well, so my last name is Well Beloved, and I have a thing for hearts, and hearts bring me joy. and I had a team member give me this Himalayan sea salt
Aw.
art. And that just makes me happy to look at it every day. I have a little cactus
Cool.
my sister gave me when she surprised me with a girls' trip to Sedona for my 50th birthday a couple years ago. So that makes me think about vacation and friends and just the special people in my life.
Mhm.
And I have this funny little
What on earth is that?
small thing that my kids picked out for me at
Aw.
Disneyland years ago because I always thought we would watch this movie together and I always thought that was such a cute little character. And for some reason they thought that was going to be a great Mother's Day gift for me, but it actually has been
It
because
has been.
little thing
Yeah.
smiles at me every day and it
Yeah.
makes me think about when they were actually little and that's how their brains worked. Now they're teenagers and
Mhm. They don't think like that anymore.
they don't think like that anymore. That
Thank you, Amra, so
Dave.
much for sharing that. That's really, really big. Anybody else whose name I called, you want to jump in just super quick, and then we're going to go. The time has gone really fast. Back to Rebecca, because I want her to do this demonstration for everybody.
I love the takeaway of looking at our life like as having a whole life and kind of taking that perspective of looking at the week rather than day by day, because I can tend to get overwhelmed if I try and plan my whole week, even day by day, and think of, how exactly it's going to fall together, because obviously life doesn't always go as planned, but looking at it as a whole week, fitting those things in. I love that. And I've tried to start scheduling things like that where I put even in the middle of the day, taking like a 30-minute walk to go outside, get some sun. I live in Southern California most of the time. I'm in Massachusetts right now, so it's a little colder, but just getting that vitamin D in and getting that time to reset, refresh, and make it through the rest of the afternoon strong. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love that. Nicole, you want to hop in super quick, and then we're going to go right back to Rebecca.
Sure. I really love the part that Rebecca mentioned about paying yourself first. For me, it resonated directly with both my time, which I want to get more sleep, so that's time management, and then also planning a vacation wraps into needing finances for that. So for me, I was like, oh, that was a double whammy. Like I zeroed in on that concept, and I love that she brought that forward. So.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's go back to Rebecca, who was like, I'm so proud of my multitasking skills. And she's like, your error rate is increasing by 10 to 15% because you're multitasking, Cynthia. So she's going to prove it. And, and Rebecca, I want you to work with Dana Clary. She's volunteered. Well, actually, I volunteered her. Dana, are you good with that?
I'm good with that, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dana. Okay. So Dana, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to time you, and there's no perfection here. And I want you to count from 1 to 9. And if you can just do that as fast as you can, but wait until I put my little timer on. So give me a second. I got my stopwatch. So tell me when you're ready. You're going to just count as fast as you can, 1 to 9. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. So that was, thank you, Dana, 2.73 seconds. Okay. And then now I want you to count, I want you to say the alphabet A to I as fast as you can. You ready? Start.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I.
Great. So that was 3.87 seconds. Okay, so now I want you to count 1 to 9, and I want you to say the alphabet A to I, and I want you to alternate 1A. So tell me when you're ready. We're going to go as fast as you can.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, go.
1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, 5E, 6F, 7G, 8H, 9I.
Oh my God, that was so good. I am so sorry, Dana. You had to do that.
Amazing.
I did
So
it.
first of all, I want a big
huge. That was perfect.
All right, so I think that took you to do the alternating task.
Excel forever, like
All
10
right.
times as long.
Okay, interesting. Well, it wasn't 10 times as long, but it was
Okay.
15.34 seconds. So it's about 6 to 7 times as long. So one of the things about multitasking that people forget is that while you think you're multitasking, you're not. The left and right side of our brains cannot work. The numbers side and the letters side cannot work simultaneously. So what you task is you can do one side super fast. So if you just focus on doing calculations and numbers and whatever, you can just cruise and be in your zone. And if you're writing, talking, or on the language side of your brain, you can cruise and go along. When you try to multitask, it takes you, well, as Dana just proved, it takes you 6 to 7, for some people 10 times as long. How is your stress, Dana? Wait, you're on mute.
Oh, trying to find.
The other thing about multitasking is that when you're in your zone and you're just calculating numbers, or you're just speaking or writing or thinking, you can get into a zone and there's no stress. When you multitask, your stress goes up. How much did your stress go up, Dana?
At least 7 times.
There you go. Okay. Now, one thing that Dana did not have happen, but I would say it happens, a good 70% of the time, is usually there's an error. So usually there'll be like a 4F or it's just because you just get blocked and your brain freezes. And so she did a great job of not having an error. But in typical multitasking, not only does your stress go up, but your error rate goes up. So here's the crazy thing about multitasking. You get more stressed, you get way less done, right? You're taking 5 to 7 to 10 times the time, and often you'll have errors. So just take that.
So Rebecca, super quick, what do we need to do? Because we've got 2 minutes left and I need 1.5 minutes or more.
Seconds. What you need to do is not multitask. Reduce the multitask. Finish a single task at a time, because you're not gaining any efficiency.
Okay, I love it. Thank you so much, Rebecca. So much wisdom. Thank you for all of our featured experts today, Carly and also Crystal. You guys were great. Everybody, you all added so much to this program. We're going to do a nice recap so that you have specific tactical things that you can do to improve your work and your life. And just a quick note about what's coming up next. The next Pink Power Alliance Zoominar will be in late February on Thursday. We're going to be talking a lot about transformation in 2024, which is going to be super exciting. And, if this resonates, this program, definitely think about maybe a holiday gift for some of your high potential women in your organization or friends who really need to take a deep dive on some of the issues that impede us from creating the amazing career and life that you all deserve. I want to invite everybody to stick around if you like and introduce yourself to our experts today. Networking is huge. And it's really a great opportunity to be visible. So I hope our experts will stick around for a few minutes and we'll keep the lines open. And just want to wish everybody a super happy, healthy holiday. And, I hope you get a chance to put these things into practice, and we'll see you in the new year. Well done, everybody. Thank you.
Best believe that's the moment I shine. 'Cause every romance tricks and